Hello everybody, welcome to number 3 in the Jen and Marshall Game of Thrones recap.
First billing. I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
I am a smart husband.
You are.
But I'm also smart because it took you a little while to learn to love this episode.
Yeah.
But I liked it from the beginning.
You did.
I thought it was amazing.
You did. As soon as the
One of my
episode
favorite
ended,
ones.
we kind of sat there and thought, I didn't like that episode. There wasn't enough interpersonal connections. There wasn't enough
you wanted more
moments.
sharing of feelings.
I did.
And I was like, this is the plot's going forward, but also some great character moments and meditations on power were taking place.
And
I
it
thought were
took me a while to sort of realize that, yes, the plot was churning forward and this kind of like gears were shifting, things were happening.
Everything with the Greyjoys and the Iron Islands is fantastic. That scene where Theon Greyjoy is like, he's got that note to help Robb, and he's deciding where his loyalties lie. He just burns it, and then they just have that fantastic transition to him being rebaptized, and him just forswearing basically his allegiance to Robb, and that was a great moment for that character.
I think that I'm still with the masses. I'm still the cliche. I still think that Tyrion is... I could just watch
You
him.
just want an episode of Tyrion. To hell with the Iron Islands.
I don't want
Tyrion.
anything to have. I just want moments with Tyrion. And I think that what was great was, you said about the first episode that Tyrion had sort of earned this swagger. He'd earned this bravado. He'd gone through hell and back, and he'd survived, and he was now being taken on his own terms. I think that in this episode, though, he not only sort of furthered... He proved again how smart he is, but he also proved how he could use those smarts to further the plot, to actually make things happen for him. And that was fascinating
absolutely.
to me. Because, you see this tiny little man, and that's why I thought back on the Spider's speech.
Oh yeah,
that
that linchpin moment of the episode.
When he says a small man can cast a large shadow.
Yeah, or just it's a meditation on power.
That just blew me away, because you saw when Cersei just pushes him, and he falls, and he's just this diminutive little man, but he's so powerful in his mind, and he's taking the power, and he's taking the reins, and he's just furthering things with his wits.
He's one thing that I do think also that it did better in the series than in the book was the relationship between Renly and Sir Loras, the Knight of the Flowers.
The fairy princess.
Who you thought was a fairy princess. Because in the books, the homosexual relationship is really, if it's subtle or non-existent, it's not non-existent, but it's certainly subtle. One really interesting part of what this show is doing is they're bringing Marjorie Tyrell, his wife, this woman that he's married to ally himself with, into the foreground. Like, she totally knows what's up between he and her brother, and she's cool with it. She understands that in the Game of Thrones, you play the hand that you're dealt, and she realizes the importance of maintaining this union despite whatever sexuality comes in between.
In the book.
That exchange between the two of them is like, no, non-existent. So that's totally building up a female character as being someone who's incredibly savvy, who's incredibly forward-thinking with regards to her relationship with her closeted king husband or would-be king husband, and what her silence and her participation in the secret of it can do for both of them politically. And I think that was really interesting.
Well, you can't help but wonder about, and this gets into a whole other can of worms, but how much stigma there really is around that. It just seems like there's so many of those kind of inner backstories and people that sort of foray into various sexual proclivities, that it does seem like he's terrified of being outed, but you can't help but wonder really whether her going along with it is more because she knows that
She wants to be queen.
Exactly.
No, she totally wants to be queen.
I mean, yes, she's a very understanding and delightful wife,
No,
but
she wants
I
the
think
throne.
that she, yeah, I mean,
No,
everyone
absolutely.
has an agenda.
Is there anything that didn't work for you this episode?
Oh, well, no. I mean, it took me a while to really, I think when I was watching it, I was just going like, wait, okay, now we're going there. Oh, now we're going here. Oh, wait, but I want to go back to that. I want more scenes with, sort of meaty
You want it to be the
character.
You want it to be the Tyrion Show.
I do. But no, I mean, I think that in retrospect, and as we talked about it afterwards, I really, really liked this episode, and I think it may be not that the first episode was that action-packed. It's maybe the perfect amalgamation, though, of the two that we've seen so far.
5 Golden Dragons.
You know what?
5 Golden Dragons. This is one of my favorite episodes, hands down.
And because...
I thought it was spectacular. For that scene of Theon Greyjoy's betrayal scene alone was enough. It's just beautifully done. The cinematography, the mood of it, the camera panning, just the shots of the flags just whipping in the wind. I mean, it was spectacular.
Because you knew from the get-go that this was a 5 Golden Dragon episode, I'm going to defer to your rating system.
5 Golden Dragons.
5 Golden
Boom.
Dragons.
Okay.
There's no question.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for nerding it up with me, darling.
Yeah, I really nerded it up this episode.
Please like this video. Please comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we should work on, what you want to hear more of. We try to make it a little bit longer this time. Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.